My daughter, 17F, wants to host a party but I'm 42M, a recovering alcoholic. My daughter is going to be graduating high school soon and wants to host a party to mark the occasion. She's going to college out of state, so this will be the last time she sees many of her friends. I am not opposed to it, but I am a recovering alcoholic and not comfortable with the presence of alcohol at the party. I've only been sober for a year and a half and it took me a long time to get here. I tried to get my daughter to agree to not have alcohol at the party, especially since they are underage, but no dice. My wife thinks it's okay for her to drink under our supervision and thinks if we banned alcohol, some kid would sneak it in anyway. She suggested I stay with a friend or family member the night of the party, so I won't be around it. I don't think I should have to leave my own house so that they can throw a wild drunken teen party, and I feel they aren't respecting my sobriety. I'm thinking about vetoing the party altogether. Is there any other compromise besides me leaving? She doesn't want to host it at a separate venue. Edit. I didn't mean to come off self-centered. I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to alcohol and I'm just trying to rectify that. My daughter was introduced to alcohol by a friend at 14 and I went along with it because I was drinking and had started young myself. I realize how stupid and messed up it is. As a European, this comment thread is incredibly confusing for me. Laughing my ass off the culture, a significant other different. Teenagers legally drink a lot at parties here because it's legal at 16. Actually, funnily enough, teenagers drink less alcohol than American teenagers seem to because we are allowed. You're a recovering alcoholic but you allow your underage daughter to drink in your home already, knowing that addiction can and often does have a genetic predisposition. Maybe I'm dumb, but your daughter is 17 and drinks? Does your wife know that if someone called the police and she was there with underage kids drinking, she would get charged with at least a misdemeanor and a hefty fine depending on the state you live in? Plus, if my kid was to go to a graduation party and I found out another parent was supplying them with alcohol, I would be pissed. What if one of those kids gets behind the wheel and gets into an accident? What if they get killed or kill someone else? Ban the alcohol and take the chance that a kid sneaks it in, then call that kid's parents. It's pretty concerning to me that your 17-year-old daughter can't have a party without alcohol, and your wife totally condones it. I understand what you're saying and know she shouldn't be allowed to drink in your home, let alone invite multiple teenagers to come over and drink while you're given the boot to make it easier for them and you. I'm surprised your wife isn't being more support. No, letting her drink and party in your home isn't a good option. I'm sure others feel like your wife and it's okay allowing it in your home so you parents won't worry about her, but sorry, that just seems wrong to me. As I understand it, you are battling to not drink daily. Most people slip up if their spouse isn't supportive. I hope all goes well. If you're in the US, hosting a party where alcohol is freely given under the supervision of parents is a really good way to go to jail or pay a massive fine. If anything happens at all, like a kid drinks and drives, a kid has an emergency, someone's parents stop by, they're too loud and the cops come, a kid drinks too much, a kid feels uncomfortable and tells their parents, etc., you can get into some serious trouble. I know that most kids drink underage. But who the fuck do you think you are that you can allow someone else's kid, let alone your own? How does your wife not have your back on this? I consider myself one of the more permissive parents, but I'm not letting my teen throw a booze-fueled rager. I might be convinced to let a few beers go, but no liquor, and definitely not if my spouse has a issue. No alcohol or no party. P.S. Not seeing any compromises besides stay away, have the party away, or no drinks. Those are literally all the options. I tried to get my daughter to agree to not have alcohol. I am sorry. Who is the parent? Your child does not dictate this. Also, you are putting yourself in some serious liability if one child gets hurt or parent finds out as a result of this. Last, you should really consider how you are potentially contributing to her becoming an alcoholic. We know too much about how it is passed down easily. We think our son is dating a boy and we're concerned. My son, just turned 18 has been hanging out with a 15 almost 16, boy, and it's obvious he likes him. He's really touchy with him, but only when he thinks we can't see. He says it's just his bud, but he closes the door when this friend is over and only when this friend is over. With his other friends they usually hang out in the living room here or at the friend's house, but this boy he is always taking to the movies, the mall, out to eat, etc. If it were a girl, I'd assume these were dates. My son dresses nicer, and smells nicer. When he's meeting this boy, he treats him nicer than all his other friends, and he's been doing stuff like baking cookies and brownies for this boy. Like what? This behavior is totally out of the ordinary. If my son displayed all of this behavior towards a girl, I'd assume it was his girlfriend. The issue is it's a boy, so we don't want to ask in the age gap. Could he be in trouble because he's now 18, and because of a developmental gap, could it just be morally wrong? Tell your son you love him, and if he wants to date boys, that's just fine with you. Then explain to him that because there's an age gap, he could get into trouble for dating someone who is 15. If the other boy's parents don't approve of same-sex relationships, they're very likely to try to press charges against your son. The exact laws on this vary a lot from place to place. You'd have to look it up for your area. But have the conversation, and support your kid. Are you concerned because it's a boy or because the boy is 15 and your son is 18? I would have a conversation with him and tell him that you are completely okay with it if he's gay, and mean it. But that you think 15 is a little young to date an 18-year-old, and that you'd prefer if he waits until the other boy is 16 if he wants to take things in that direction. Be prepared for a negative response, but then at least the conversation will be on the table. Then just try to be on top of things in terms of supervision. Introduce a no closed doors policy if necessary. Tell your son it's to protect him in case anything happens in terms of the boy's parents making allegations. The bud being a boy doesn't seem like a problem, but I do think the age gap legally could cause problems. But as long as both sets of parents are okay with it, it's not really a problem. Nobody needs to know what they do in the room. A just 18-year-old and an almost 16-year-old probably isn't enough of an age gap to cause a problem, but you may want to check local laws to make sure things aren't technically illegal. Also, that assumes sex is happening, which isn't certain. But tell your son that you love him, and if he's gay or bi you love him just as much as if he's straight, and you would love to get to know the person he's dating if that's the case. The age gap is a little concerning, but everything else seems fine. Why not talk to him about it? I agree with everyone here. Gender does not play a role of trouble here, but the fact that he is 15 does. He is a minor, and if the kid's parents find out and get the wrong idea, they can press some mean charges on your son. The gender does not matter, that is a minor, my friend. Because in my state, if the minor's parents do not consent, charges can be pressed. Do not mess with that stuff, and explain to your son the legality of the situation. Don't bring up gender, you'll probably just push him away and you're trying to keep your son out of jail. 15, almost 16, and 18 is at that age, in my opinion, is too much of an age gap. Legally speaking, in many places, 16 is the age of consent, and legally, at that moment, there are no concerns. Also, being a boy dating a boy isn't wrong. If you're just concerned about asking, that's not in my line of expertise, but someone with more experience there will comment undoubtedly. I don't know if my marriage is salvageable. I, 30F, have been married to my husband, 32M, for 5.5 years, together for 8. To be honest, our relationship has always had really high highs and low lows. I've kicked him out and asked for divorce in the past, before we had our daughter, 1.5F. Before you ask why the hell we decided to have a kid, we were in a real great place before the pandemic, during lockdown. After I had the baby and went back to work, things got worse again. I was working 50-60 hours a week and 100% responsible for our child. Even an hour alone with her makes him upset. I've since quit working, and things haven't improved. I now work weekend days, and my mother takes her overnight for the duration. I can't tell you the last time he changed a diaper. He has never, ever, gotten up to take care of her in the middle of the night, even when I worked full-time. Even when I broke my tailbone. He recently, post-New Year's, started a second-shift job, and now he goes out 3-4 nights a week, while I am at home 12+ hours a day, alone with our toddler. He does not see a problem with this. Last night, when I asked him to come home, it was 1 a.m., he accused me of trying to control him and impose a bedtime on him. Of the past 4 nights, he has only been home before 1 a.m. one time. When he's off work, he is asleep, hungover, or both. He does not show any interest or put any effort into housework or taking care of our child. I mean, he won't even put his dishes in the dishwasher or put his clothes in the hamper. He is constantly, almost incessantly, pestering me for sex. I feel like the only positive things he has to say to me are about my physical appearance, and he only pays attention to me when he wants to be physically intimate. I feel like an object. I have expressed all of this to him and I have been very clear that I'm at the end of my rope. He has refused both individual and couples counseling. What can I do to salvage this? Edit. Okay. I have not had a single hopeful response to this. You all sound like my mom, and I guess I'm kind of grateful for that. I realize now that I've definitely run out of rope, and I've probably been grasping at thin air for a while. Thank you for all your comments and kind words. I've kicked him out and asked for divorce in the past. Do that again, but have some conviction this time. Nothing, you can't make him adult. You can't salvage it if he sees nothing wrong with what he's doing. It sounds like you're trying to change him. Is that a constant thing when your relationship is low? Sit him down one last time and tell him things need to change or you're better off separate since you're kinda raising your kid alone anyways. Might as well separate and try to find some happiness. You and your daughter deserve more. You're already a single mom, might as well make it official and start the path to finding happiness for both yourself and your daughter. I know the financial burden will be challenging, but talk to a lawyer and talk to your support system. Maybe your mom and provide some childcare during the week. It will be hard, but you deserve a full life of love. Not whatever scraps this man decides to give you. Let me be very clear, what you described is not a marriage. There's no partnership. He's being a shitty partner and neglectful parent. He doesn't even try to do the bare minimum for his child. His attitude is absolutely gross. He is only interested in hounding you for sex, while the rest of the time he's checked out of both the marriage and family life. You can do bad all by yourself. You don't need him dragging you down. I think you'd be better off calling it and kicking him out. How can you salvage something while he's the one breaking it apart? Sometimes love isn't enough. Your love can't change him. Your love can't make him a better dad. Your love can't make him stay away from the bars. But your love can make you blind to his shitty behavior, make you blind to hear your inner voice telling you this isn't right, make you blind to how horrible he treats your child. It saddens me that your love for your husband seems to outweigh the love of your child. And yourself. Would your life be easier without him, yes or no? You clean and cook for him, you are pestered for sex, you are berated, you are actively left to your own devices. He provides what? Money? Great, if you divorce him you'll get none of the problems, but he'll still have to pay you. Your marriage is not salvageable. He does not want to be better for you. He does not want to be a dad, and he is not being a dad, most importantly. You only lose problems if you get rid of him. Win-win for you. Huge loss for him. There goes his free nanny, housekeeper, cook and bedroom companion. He sounds genuinely awful, please leave. He is a terrible role model. A distant father is better than one who abandons you every day even though he is right there. Should I tell my Sil her husband is cheating on her? Too long did not read. My soon-to-be sister-in-law bullied me for years. Now I know her husband to be is cheating on her. Should I tell her? It's been years since we've been in the same family, but ever since she joined, for lack of a better word, she has been awful to me. For example, the very first time I met her was when she was introduced to the family, and I stuck out my hand to her and said, "Hi. I'm name. It's nice to meet you." She stared at my hand and said, "Oh, I know," and turned and walked away. About 2 years in, I caught her online saying terrible things about me. I was friends with her on social media, but I think she forgot, because she posted multiple statuses about me and I know they were about me because she called me by name. She said things like she didn't know how I've made it so far in life without getting punched in the face. Or she had a dream she was walking with a cup of hot coffee and she ran into me and spilled it all over my head and she woke up laughing. I have social media, but don't get on it a lot. So when I eventually did get on and saw one of these statuses, I went to her page and found out she had been posting them for months, like 6+ months. I ended up confronting her, in which I invited her out for lunch and apologized if I had done something to offend her and asked if we could start over, and she said sure, but no attempt of an apology was made. And she stopped posting stuff online. But her behavior has remained cold and aggressive. She goes out of her way to ignore me at family events. She will get my husband and dogs gifts, but never me. She sent her wedding invitation to me with my maiden name, even though my husband and I have been married for 2 years. Just almost kinda spiteful. Now, my husband and his brother, her fiancé, are all a part of the same friend group, and they often will get together and hang out at one of their houses. My husband came home one night from hanging out, and told me his brother had snuck off into a bedroom with a girl, and he couldn't say something happened because he didn't see it, but he said they came out looking disheveled. And next time he went over, it happened again twice. And it kept happening every time they would hang out. This girl would show up, sit in his brother's lap, they would eventually wander into the bedroom for a while and come back out. Then one time my husband slept over there. He had to get up early to come home and get ready for work, and he said when he got up, This girl was asleep on top of his brother on the couch. Now his brother's wedding is getting closer, and I'm having morality issues over whether I should tell her or not. Part of me genuinely wants to tell her, because if the roles were reversed, I would hope she would tell me. And then another part of me thinks again that she needs to know, but I shouldn't be the one to break the news. But my husband is the only other person who knows, other than the friend group, and he doesn't think it's his place to tell her, either. But part of me admittedly is like, screw her, sucks to suck. Maybe she should have been nicer to me. And I know that's mean, but she's gone out of her way to be mean to me for years. And I need outsiders' perspectives. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? I'd take a pic and post it on her social media page. Someone said she definitely won't tell you, and I agree. Not only that, but she's the type of girl, from what I read, to gloat about you being cheated on social media as well. I wouldn't tell her anything, let her mean ass look stupid. But I'm an asshole, so I don't know if my advice is the right advice. Woman shrugging, medium light skin tone, tears of joy. So, based on her behavior towards you, my first thought is that she wants your husband and settled for his brother instead. It's possible she already knows about and is okay with him cheating. That's just speculation though, you can ignore it. However, even if she were your best friend, telling her is just gonna make you the bad guy, and not worth it. Also, you are not morally obligated in this situation because you, personally, have not seen your brother-in-law cheating. Good luck. I would absolutely want to tell her. I'd want to be petty and tell her the night before her wedding and ruin her day. Whether she went through with it or not, her day would 100% be ruined. However, the smart thing here is to keep your mouth shut. This is one of those blow-up-in-your-face situations. This is a family you are a part of, and I could totally see the in-laws turning on you. Secrets have a way of coming out eventually. Maybe someday you'll have the opportunity to say to her face, "Oh, you found out?" To be completely honest, if you don't tell her, they may have a kid and then you're stuck with her in the family forever. Not only that, but like, she should know. Maybe do it on a burner social media account pretending to be a friend of the girl he's cheating with. Mind ya business and avoid this woman. If anything, your hub should talk to his brother about canceling the wedding, but you stay out of it. Mean bees don't change, they just get meaner and more bitter as their life continues to disappoint them. People are gonna say tell her, but honestly I'm a spiteful petty bitch and I'd let karma do its job. After all, she obviously hates you. Why be nice to someone who wouldn't return the favor? But that's me, I'm just petty. First, what is your husband doing against this behavior? Did he talk to his brother about it? Because these men need to step up, big time. I would let her know, anonymously. With a little bit of luck, she will end the relationship and will be out off your life.